Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many video games were released in 2006? I had no clue either, but apparently it was around 900 games. And how many do you think of those were free to play? Well, sadly getting this exact kind of data proved to be very hard, but what is known is that in 2006, the free-to-play model was still developing. But a few notable free-to-play games were directly released that year. While there were other smaller free-to-play games, mostly like browser-based or regional MMORPGs, the total number of worldwide releases in 2006 was relatively low compared to later years. Nowadays, it has become pretty normal for games to be released for free, and they include skins, loot boxes, DLCs, or offer battle passes to generate income. But back in 2006, that wasn't common at all, since in that year, there were probably just a few proper games that were released for free. And one of those games we will talk about today.
Creativity and exchange with people around the globe. In this stadium, get into Trackmania, Nations Electronic Sport World Cup.
But what does ESWC actually stand for, you might ask? Electronic Sports World Cup. The game was specifically released to be part of the same named organized esports live events. Nadeo became partners with ESWC, and it became the first ever free-to-play esports game. But that we will look into way more detailed later in this video. For now, let's focus on the game itself. Trackmania Nations ESWC is the third game released in the Trackmania series and features a brand new environment, Stadium. It was a free standalone game, largely pitched as an online game. The game includes a system that allows you to challenge friends via email or messenger. Later on, a new feature allows you to create and manage a friends list, inviting acquaintances in the manner of Facebook or MySpace. Yeah, remember MySpace? After booting the game for the first time, you're presented with its trailer, showing you what it had to offer. By showing all these different cars competing, it really shows the mark of this game. After this introduction of the game, you're prompted with creating your user profile. You come up with your in-game name and select the country you will be driving and competing in. There's one flag I want to talk about that really stands out. Technically, the snake flag was never the official flag of Martinique, which is an overseas department and region of the French Republic. Wikipedia states that prior to 2023, Martinique did not have its own flag, and the only official flag of Martinique was the French flag. The snake flag of Martinique was introduced in 1766 for French colonial vessels. Over time, it became controversial due to its ties to the colonial era and slave trade. In 2018, President Macron ordered its removal from national use. You finish setting up your profile by picking the country you're gonna compete in and get ready to jump into the game. As mentioned in the trailer, there's one new single environment. The stadium consists of 24 flagpoles, a big grass field in the middle with the game logo mowed into the grass, and 2 long stretching roofs and a bunch of screens to display ads on. But weirdly enough, no single seat for any spectators. Under the roof is this parking lot looking like space that doesn't connect to any kind of road. So why is it here? I guess we said it will never know. In this game, players race exclusively in one environment using the stadium car. Unlike the original Trackmania, which featured multiple cars and environments, this game focuses on a single high-speed vehicle. If you'd like to know more about Trackmania Original, please go check out my last video where I talk about it in more detail. While not an exact replica of any real-world model, the stadium car is inspired by multiple race cars. Its open-wheel layout and aerodynamic body resembles a Formula 1 car, but its wheels, which are outside of its chassis, and its covers are particularly reminiscent of the Aero Atom, a British high-performance open-wheel car. Though the Aero Atom is street legal, it is very impractical for everyday use. The stadium car blends these influences, creating a unique racing machine built purely for fast-paced competition. That environment offered a way more classic graphic style known from racing games. From here on, there was no more underground blocks or our beloved sunny desert scenery. You get to mostly drive on asphalt road, ramps looking like they are made out of some kind of metal grid, though it behaves the same way the asphalt blocks do. And rarely you get to drive on grass, which has impacts on the acceleration and makes it easy to slide. All of this you sadly only get to enjoy during the day, since there is no more different daytimes. For the first time in Trackmania, players could race with cars painted in their nation's colors, hence the name Nations, I suppose. The game features 68 different countries, but why 68? Maybe it was a technical limitation or just a number they settled on. Either way, it wasn't without its quirks. For example, the German car mistakenly uses the Belgian flag, a mistake that was never fixed. And if your country wasn't included, well, you had two choices: create your own custom skin and pick a country to represent, or just not care at all. And if you'd like to know more about wrong flags used in this game or other ridiculous mistakes that were made with the skins, please check out Louphok's video where he goes into great detail. On top of that, the game features a ranking ladder where players compete within their own region. The top 5 players even get their names displayed on the game's homepage, adding some extra bragging rights. Let's talk about the main parts of the game. The beloved time attack game had a whole 90 solo tracks to play on within the campaign, separated into 3 sections: beginner, advanced, and expert. However, if you check the game's folder, you would be able to see an additional section called Pro, which contained 10 extra tracks. These maps that were named A0 to A9 Pro would be unlocked after completing all 90 tracks to the original 3 sections offered. While researching for this video, I saw that additional 20 bonus tracks will also be unlocked, combining the campaign to a total of 120 tracks. But maybe you didn't want to play solo. Maybe you had friends or siblings that you wanted to play the game with. Fortunately, the game offered quite a few different ways to do so. Let's start with the hot seat mode. The hot seat mode lets you take turns while playing on the same PC, even letting you customize the game by setting parameters on the mode like time or tries. The objectives were simple. In tries, whoever got the best time over the course of the amount of tries you had set won. In time, you simply set a time you drive, your best times. By finishing the first round, it's the next player's turn to beat their time. After the player's time has run out, he gets eliminated. Another way to play was with others through their online servers, which has sadly now long been shut down. While I'm unable to record my own footage of such servers, I was lucky to find a video that was uploaded to YouTube 14 years ago by the German creator named TCH Support, where he showcases the game and its online playability. Online servers offer 3 modes: round, time attack, and team. Round mode. Players race head to head on multiple tracks. The first to finish earns 10 points, with lower ranks getting fewer. A new round starts when time runs out, and the match ends when a player reaches the target score. Default, it is set to 50. Some versions award points only to the winner. In time attack, players race solo against the clock, trying to set the fastest lap. They can restart any time to improve their time. The best times update live, adding pressure. The fastest player wins when times run out. In team mode, 2 teams compete using round mode rules. At the end of each round, scores are totaled, and the winning team earns 1 match point. Players can join teams via the escape key. Times driven in this mode sadly didn't count towards the internet rankings. This Trackmania version continues the use of checkpoints, though in this title they're a bit different. Now you can't use them to respawn at each single one of them, which helps a lot when trying to learn a track. After you made a mistake now, you had to start the track all over again, making it way harder to learn the tracks since it just took way more time, learning every turn by turn, slowly mastering the course. To understand this game and get a feel for it, I of course installed it myself and started playing while working on this video. In a sense, I'm happy it went back, but also made me a bit sad I didn't get to enjoy this when I was younger. I know of so many people who in their life have at least played one Trackmania game, and a lot of it started right here with Nations ESWC, and its later more furbished release Nations Forever. While I was struggling to finish the last expert map, me and my friends were in a Discord call. They wanted to get their own chance at completing I9, so I let them use TeamViewer to connect to my PC and give them a try. We laughed and fooled around for over an hour, and I can only imagine how people felt playing this game back in 2006. It made for some very funny moments seeing them trying to race while playing with a stupid amount of lag, and maybe we have even won over another fellow racer.
Okay, maybe I should put the game on my actual screen. I have both.
Wait, I should put it on my actual screen. Was it in your mind?
Yes.
Now you should put TeamViewer on the second monitor and Discord on the main
Yeah,
monitor.
Discord
Just
was
click.
Yeah, wait. Let me do it. Let me do
How
it.
did you hit the wall? Come on, screw.
Damn.
Damn!
You're playing stun.
We should both at the same time.
Sar, I need your TeamViewer
Sir,
password, Sar.
I need...
Sar.
Sir, please do not turn left, sir.
No! Oh my god, easy.
Great driving.
Do not redeem first place.
No!
Sar, you are going too slow, Sar.
It's amazing to see that this one looks identical to the fucking Nations. Like, they really didn't do much for that one.
This is Nations.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Or is Electronic World Sports
Yeah,
Cup, which
yeah,
is
but
Nations.
it's Nations. And Nations Forever was just this game, but more.
Yeah.
It's the same game, essentially.
But this is the free one, so this is like the trial for Nations.
Yeah. Oh, wait! What?
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I mean, to be fair,
Oh my
Let
God,
me
you're
because you've missed a lot
Let
of
me cook.
checkpoints.
Let me cook.
No, she hasn't missed a single one.
She didn't?
No.
I thought she
No.
skipped two.
Who's me?
No, she hasn't
Yes,
missed a
this-
single.
Let me
This
cook.
is easy.
Oh god, oh god, oh god!
Wait.
Oh no!
Okay.
Sir, we're going to the moon, sir.
I don't think you could.
Madame, I'm sorry. How'd I leave?
You just exit out of TeamViewer on your PC.
But it's on the browser.
You just close the tab.
You were playing in the browser. And you were
Yeah.
like, you...
That's even
It was
worse.
1 FPS.
So Tenny got the furthest. That's crazy.
Yep, that is actually crazy. It's her first time playing.
And in browser
In
without hardware
browser.
acceleration. Oh, this is it. I can feel it.
Yeah, not
Whoa, what do you mean you feel it? Oh.
Yeah, I feel like playing in the browser was actually the way to go.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because it seemed like it had less lag than Matra does.
Yeah, this is kind of horrible.
Like, I
Oh,
know he
no.
plays the game well. I've seen him play TM20, but like, this is not good.
No, this is horrible.
It feels like a game I could get addicted to.
It
Yes,
is.
it's very
I
easy
swear
to get
God.
addicted to.
And people did get addicted to this game, preparing for competitions, improving lanes, trying to find the fastest ways to complete tracks, and while doing so, naturally they would stumble upon bugs. Trackmania is known to be a quite buggy game, and those bugs can have a big influence on the gameplay itself. They tend to never be fixed and transition into later releases. Let's talk about the most famous bug in this game that can make a big change in a bunch of the tracks people were competing on, the Rammstein bug. A German member of the community found the bug and called it Rammstein bug, which translates to curb bug, since it sounded very similar to Rammstein, the band. So that's how a lot of people started referring to it as Rammstein bug, since the German word Rammstein isn't even widely used within Germany itself. So how does the bug work? The road you drive on has 2 green stripes on each side, and it's hard to see, but the road isn't perfectly flat. There are 2 little nudges, and if the car drives over the unsmooth part, there's a tiny chance it launches the car up and gives it a speed boost. There is another bug that was literally found one day after the game has just released, the checkpoint bug or bug fin. The car is able to touch the checkpoint from beneath or its side, and it will count as driving through the checkpoint, making it possible to skip driving through the checkpoint, since the hitbox of the checkpoints and finishes overlaps to the outside of the block as well. As seen in this clip, you can use this bug for your advantage. You drive over the wall, hit the checkpoint on the side, and skip parts of the map, gaining a lot of time. But how did the game's traction go, and were people interested in it? Trackmania Nations ESWC quickly became very popular, with almost 1 million registered online players within weeks of its launch. Over the course of the year 2006, the game will be played by 6 million people and more than 30 million until 2008. Since the game was free to play, they had to come up with a way to make some kind of money, so the revenue model was based on in-game ads. There were different screen blocks in which they displayed ads, like for example for NVIDIA. So where did the idea come from to create this game to be played in esports? For that, I want to travel back in time for a bit and talk about the first ever LAN. Esports was definitely a thing back in 2006, but it was not as massive as today for sure. The first cited instance of an esports competition was in 1972, when players grouped up at Stanford University Artificial Intelligence Laboratory for the Intergalactic Space Wars Olympics. Can we please bring names back like this? It makes it sound so exciting, and I mean, to be fair, very nerdy. At the event, they even competed for a year's subscription to Rolling Stones magazine. I'd say that's a pretty good price. In 1980, Atari hosted a Space Invaders Championship, one of the first large-scale gaming tournaments with 10,000 participants.
Tonight we'll be discovering just who Space Invader Champion of the Midlands is, with the 5 highest scorers from last week's event at the NEC, who will be battling it out on the Atari home computer games. The winner gets to keep the machine that he's playing on, and the chance to take part in the Atari National Championships in London at Easter.
It is crazy to me that over 40 years ago, video games brought together a big group of people like this. In the 2000s, fast internet speeds allowed for global online competitions, as known from games like Counter-Strike and Dota. So where did the idea come from for Trackmania to step into the esports scenes come from? During a trip to China, founder of Trackmania Florian Castanera, let's go by his in-game name, Hillis, saw the craze for this kind of video game and thought after seeing Need for Speed competitions that Trackmania would be so much better for it. Well, was he right though?
Je m'appelle Florent Castelnerac et je travaille au studio Nadeo.
In an interview given at ESWC in 2007 from Vossay.com, Hillis mentions how the game studio Nadeo consists of 12 people and they try their best with what they got. Also mentioning how they used ESWC to reach as many people as they could, which he says was around 100 million. Typical classic racing game players weren't too fond about Trackmania, and it was actually mostly people who never played racing games who got interested in playing. During Trackmania Nations ESWC's time, there were 2 major tournaments, in 2006 and 2007. Both were offline and played in a simple cup mode. In 2006, the tournament featured in 24 regional qualifiers that commenced on the game's launch day and continued until the finals. The tournament concluded with French player Carl securing first place, followed by Bejor and Gallo. The following year, the number of qualifiers increased to 35, reflecting the game's growing popularity. The 2007 ESWC saw Dutch player Xenogear clinch the championship, with Carl and Lion taking 2nd and 3rd place, respectively. These developments underscored the rapid expansion of Trackmania's competitive scene during this period. The first tournament offered a whopping $40,000 prize money, while the second major dropped to $19,000. But wait, as seen on the official game's website, there is this bit misleading text and it says $400,000. Yeah, that can be right, not in Trackmania. The whole of ESWC had a prize pool of $400,000, and Trackmania got a nice share of 10% of that. For a very long time, there was known to be footage from the first ever finals, and seemed to be long lost until it was found and posted on Twitter. The competitive side of Trackmania did grow with the release of this game, just like intended. People all over the world would meet up at LANs and play the game and compete with each other. As seen in this footage, people were using different input devices, something the game studio made sure about. They wanted to make sure anyone can play with their preferred devices. Since I saw someone play with a joystick in Trackmania United back in 2008, makes me believe there could have already been a thing 2 years earlier in Nations ESWC. And after talking to a friend, he did tell me that he believes that back in the day people were using joysticks and it was a big thing. There's 2 more things I want to talk about regarding the game that don't really have their own chapter. When closing the game, you get a chance of seeing one of the 6 exit slides, which are all pictures from Trackmania Original and Trackmania Sunrise, showing off each game's 3 different environments. Modding also started to pick up during this time. It is nothing close to what we've seen in newer releases, but people were creative and started adding alternative cars to drive with and added storylines to the maps they have created. Some players even went out of their way and changed the look of the in-game blocks, since the community mapping was definitely a big thing back then. At last, I want to say thank you to Nadeo for taking a risk back then and doing something out of the ordinary for publishing this game and trying to build up an esports. It might have not turned out to be the big competitive game they have hoped for, but it is impressive how it connected so many million people over the years and the friendships it has created.